Welcome back to the Meals on a Budget challenge. Today, £2, and unlike last week, I think I have a plan. I set out straight away to get some potatoes that I could bake. The idea? Jack potatoes with tuna, use tinned tomatoes to make potato and tomato soup, work out breakfast from there. Remember that I am not allowed to use things that I have previously used. Now, you might see here that I'm looking at the limes for 24p. Unfortunately, having spent a total of £1.79 so far, I only had 21p remaining. A smart person here would have got a banana for 21p like last week, but as I told you, not allowed to repeat. So you're seeing me getting 2 cans of canned potatoes to get 76p rather than the potatoes I currently had, which was 79p. By putting those back, I am now at £1.76, meaning that with 24p remaining, I'm saying no to the banana and getting a lime instead. Time to eat a very, very weird day of food. Or nearly. See, last time I didn't really include much video of me doing the checkout process. Filming it's quite fun. I was enjoying waving at the camera and just having it all add up perfectly. So what I failed to do was pay. I walked about halfway out of the shop and then realised I hadn't got the notification that I normally get from my phone when I pay. Very awkward. It would have been the weirdest robbery in history if I had been waving at the camera like that. Anyway, I got the foods, I'm back, and now it's time to eat. Hello everyone. For breakfast for this £2 3 meals video, I decided it'd be quite funny to have a lime, just so that you guys can see my reaction. I think that this is going to be a mistake, but we'll see how it goes. The alternative was to have a banana again, which you've already seen last week, so let's do something different. From this point going onwards, we should get to £4, £8, £16, which should all be relatively easy compared to this. I'm excited to have some actual protein that's a bit more substantial than just tuna chunks, but I think hopefully there should be an improvement in terms of the enjoyment compared to last week, where I literally just ate 17 slices of bread. Let's see. I'm thinking I'm just going to eat this lime like an orange, eating a segment at a time. I'm going to save the peel of the lime just to use it for zest later in the day. A little bit of me thinks I might not want to eat any more lime after this though, so let's see. Okay, I peeled the lime as much as possible and got it into small segments. I think this is going to be a rough breakfast, but why don't we try? Okay, segment 1. I really hope this isn't as bad as I think it's going to be. This is going to be a rough breakfast. There was a second there where I thought it was all going to be fine, and it was just not going to be as sour. That lime is so sour that it tastes like the water has sugar in it because it's comparatively sweet. Oh, this was such a mistake. I guess I could save some lime to put in the stuff later in the day. Okay, I'm going to eat the rest of it off camera so I can do it over the course of like an hour rather than in the next few minutes. But that is rough. Okay, it's going to be a fun day. I finished all 3 meals and have no food left. Let's go over how we did. In contrast to last week, when we had half the budget, we have actually done much, much worse. The daily reference intake for calories, 2,000. I only had 452. Fat, I did have less than 70 grams, only 2.2, so that's a success. That means that saturated fat, I had 0.95 grams, and you've got to have less than 20. That's fine. Carbohydrates, I am way under, 70.8 grams compared to 260. Sugars, again, 15.4 grams, I needed 90. Fibre, I had 10, I needed more than 30. Protein, 36, I needed more than 50. Now, salt, officially, it says that I've got 1.35 grams. So if we consider only what we bought, this would be a success. However, to make the meals appetizing, I put Peli salt on. I put some salt on the potatoes and tuna for lunch. Now to make my lunch appetizing, I put some salt on that. So if it goes for just what we bought, this would have been a success. But I think I probably put more than the remaining bit of salt. on that, meaning salt, I'm also considering a failure. So, what does that mean? Well, the biggest takeaway is that last week the £1 challenge was down to some very lucky timing with an incredibly nutrient-rich source of food. Now what this means is that last week, now what does this say? To me what this says isn't that we performed worse than expected this week. I think what it shows is just how impossible it is to do this with variety and how lucky we got last week. Last week, pretty much all the nutrients were provided by some very nutrient-rich bread. It was half and half, filled with protein, bread filled with fibre. It was heavily discounted. Now, I believe that was discounted from £1.45. So, last week, we actually effectively did a £2 challenge as well, but we got lucky. Also, last week we had something different. Today I also could have had bananas, and that would have given me, instead of a lime, but that would have given me more weight of potatoes that I could have, not canned, and that would have been really helpful. But I still wouldn't have got there. So what this shows is that if you want to have some variety, doing it on a budget is pretty much impossible. Also, it's really not enjoyable to do. I'm very excited for next week when we're doubling up to £4. I think that I'll be able to have some really nutritious meals, hopefully, with that budget. And then maybe the time after that, when I'm at £8, I'll be able to afford some snacks. Obviously, it's not something you really think about, but if all I'm having in a day is water and the things you see me buy, plus some condiments, then there's no time to have snacks, and you really end up craving them. I really, really fancy a cup of tea, but I'm going to keep this up until the end of the day, so no more eating. And then next week, hopefully, should be a more enjoyable experience. But yeah, really makes you appreciate just how nice it is to have food. So I'd recommend this challenge, maybe just for one day, just to kind of see how you find it. Again, credit to the original creator of this kind of meal prep challenge, Atomic Shrimp. He has done some excellent videos. He also does some foraging in those videos, which is really interesting to watch. And yeah, I think perhaps I could have done a bit better, but I'm slightly disappointed that I did so badly in this one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there were any other strategies that you think I should have taken. And yeah, I'll see you for the next episode in this series next week. Thanks for watching.